Inverse variation is the opposite, if you like, of direct variation. So if you have direct variation like this, then inverse variation is going to look like this. The simplest type of direct variation we have, y equals x, will give you a graph that looks like this, whereas the graph of y equals k divided by x is going to look like this, and it also has negative values. And we can, if we look at the function, we notice that the x is at the bottom of the fraction. So what you will never find with inverse variation is valid values for x equals 0. So x can never be 0, and that's why we never see x crossing the second axis. So we'll have a look at an example for inverse variation as well. The number of hours n taken to build a wall varies inversely with the number of people x who are available to work on it. The first question, when 3 people are available, the wall takes 2 hours to build. Find the time it takes to build the wall when 4 people are available to work on it. So the number of hours n, so n is now the function. And the variable is the number of people x who are able to work on it. Now, if n varies inversely with x, we can simply write this as k divided by x. So our next objective is to find k. So when 3 people are available, the wall takes 2 hours to build. So 3 people, if you have 3 people, it takes 2 hours to build. So the function value is the time, the variable x is the number of people. So we have that k divided by x equals 2, and and x, by the way, is 3. Yep. So k is going to be 2 multiplied with 3, which is 6. So our function then is n of x equals k, 6 divided by x. And this makes sense when we look at what this means. This is a 6-hour job. And we know that from question A, that 3 people spend 2 hours doing this. So we can multiply the number of hours with the number of people. So this is a 6-hour job. And depending on how many people you divide it on, that's the time it takes to do it. So 6 hours, divide that on 3 people, you get 2 hours work. B, given it takes 3 hours to build a wall, state how many people worked on it. So again, this problem is fairly simple. So It's a 6-hour job. It took 3 hours, so 2 people must have worked on it. But we can also use the equation. So in this case, we don't know how many people, but we know it's 6 divided by x equals 3. And to find the x here, we can do our little trick with writing this side also as a fraction, and then we are allowed to flip them upside down. And that gives us that x equals 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Now, whether you're dealing with direct variation or inverse variation, the recipe here is always the same. You have to interpret the information you're given. So you want to pay particular attention to, are we talking about direct variation or inverse variation, as in this case? Are we talking about variation with the variable directly, or do we have an exponent here? Is it the square or the cube of the variable? And the next bit is to identify the two variables y and x. So again here, number of hours, n, varies with the number of people, x. So here you should interpret this as, okay, using the n as the function value and the x as the variable. And then the next step is to set it up as an equation. Set up the relationship between the two variables that you're given.